All right, I think this is me actually online for the first time with a giant background behind me. So let me just get that set up a little bit better before we start off. Ooh, I have a little stream
I think this
information
is me
actually online for the first time with a giant background behind me. So let me just get that set up a little bit better before we start off. And I can hear myself.
I have a little stream.
I think this
information.
is me actually online for the first time.
Probably should close
the info where I'm watching myself. So hello everyone. Thanks for joining the very first Greenheart Games live stream. It's quite scary, not gonna lie. Very cool that so many people do that all the time. And
so hello everyone.
I just have to wait until I can't hear myself anymore.
Live stream.
It's quite scary, not gonna lie. Very cool that so many
Let's
people
do it this way.
all the time. I'll put my earphones back in later on when I have calmed down here.
Just have to wait.
Okay, someone says I can mute it, we'll see. But anyway, now I can't hear myself. So, yeah, welcome. You know, two reasons why we want to do this. First of all, we've never done a live stream and it's about time. And second, you know, we're working on this new game for quite a while called Tavern Keeper, and while we won't show it off today, sorry about that, it's kind of good for us to. We hear you to an echo. Oh, this is no good. All right, let me try that.
You know, we're working on this new game for quite a while called Tavern.
One word. Let me guys know if the echo is still there. One word. Isn't it? Let me guys know if the echo is still there. One word. Isn't it? Let me guys know if the echo is still there. All right, we will figure this out. Let me guys know if the echo is still there. All right. Where does it come from? Am I listening to myself somewhere? Difficult to do a stream when I can't talk. Is there still an echo? I think it's gone, isn't it? Awesome. Ha! All right, we're online, I think, without echo, which is nice. So thanks for your patience, everyone. It's so great to have so many people already show up for our first stream. So let me start over again. Hello, my name is Patrick Klug. You know, I'm not used to doing this at all. And thanks for joining me today. So what we want to do is just do a live stream for the first time, both to just see for ourselves how that is and how it works. And I have to say, setting up a live stream already taught me so much because, you know, when we release our next game, Tavern Keeper, we really want to make sure it's good for streamers also. And secondly, most importantly, there's this awesome new Game Dev Tycoon mod that's just come out today. So we thought, what better way to start a first stream than to play mods for Game Dev Tycoon. But before we do that, I have a little stream plan that you can see up here. And so I thought I'd start off with just doing a bit of a dev commentary on Game Dev Tycoon itself, because I'm sure a lot of you have played it, but you might not know why and how we created it. And so I thought it'd be fun to just start up the game and see how it all works. Yes, so let me know in chat. Also, it should show up actually. You can't see the stream plan. All right, thank you. Here it is. And also, let me see if we can get messages online. Ooh, lots of followers already. Thank you very much. So, let me start the game. Let's wait a little, actually. I willed it above my head just by you telling me that it isn't there. Thanks you for so much. So since this is my first time, please let me know on chat if something goes wrong or if you can't hear anything or whatever. But it hopefully should be good to go now. So yes. So sorry, Tavern Keeper, I will answer some questions later on. I think, you know, after we played Game Dev Tycoon and the mod and whatnot, I can answer some questions and go into a little bit of the details, but we're not quite ready to show more about it yet. And really, it's quite precious to us, so we want it to be ready, you know, before we show it. So yeah, thanks for your patience on that. But let's open the old and familiar, this case, test. So here it is, Game Dev Tycoon. And what I will do is I will play pirate mode, yes, thank you. No, I will do that maybe later and then go bankrupt, because that would be definitely hilarious. I will just start a new company. Let me know also if the music is too loud or anything, and we can adjust that. So first, before I start it, this is the splash screen, of course. This is what happens when you start the game, and you've all seen that. I kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about that, because to me that's kind of special for a couple of reasons. First of all, when I kind of learned to do programming and way back, you know, I always wanted to make games, and every time I had a project that I needed to make, I kind of spent all my time working on the intro for that project. So rather than making the game itself or whatever a programmer was making, I was working like the 90% on the intro and had these elaborate things, and then, you know, didn't get time to do the rest. So I'm kind of happy that the first actual commercial thing that then I released doesn't have an intro. I guess it's better to spend, you know, time working on the game rather than the intro. That's the lesson here. But also we wanted, as a first company, to get you into, you know, quite quickly into the game. And so that's why there is no, you know, logos coming in and cinematics and whatnot. It's just, okay, click to continue, or the first time you see Game Dev Tycoon start a game. And another thing I want to point out here is this giant rotating thing around is actually an image. And, you know, I kind of thought, oh, we'll have to draw it and rotate it, but I've never been good at math, so I just took the isolation, created like a 3000 pixel image, and we slowly rotate that. So that's that. Yeah, so okay, let's start a new game, a new one. So welcome to Game Dev Tycoon. In this business simulation, you've been transported back in time to start your very own game development company right at the beginning of the PC revolution. In the next 35 years, you can build your dream company, create best-selling games, gain fans, and become the leader of the market. So a couple of things here. This is the first message, and for us, it's kind of explaining the entire game to you. So even if you haven't read anything before, you should exactly know what you kind of expect from here. And also, just something I want to point out is that this message here, we made the text and font big, not so much so that, you know, for readability, although that was a reason as well, but just to keep us from making really long text. So we wanted to get you, you know, quite quickly into the game. All right, so let's start. Before you can start your adventure, you have to give your upcoming company a name. All right, let's do it. One interesting thing here that I want to point out is the guy sitting on the screen here looks into a screen, right, where you can actually see the same screen that we are looking at. which was quite difficult to do because we had to design a screen first and then take a screenshot and then put that into the screenshot. And there's actually 2 levels, so we had to take another screenshot of that and then put it in there. It's just, you know, sometimes you spend ridiculous amounts of time on simple things, I guess. Yeah, let me just see if I can actually see the stream chat, because I do want to respond to you guys. This is, I guess, what the challenge is, right, with live streaming, is having people here. Let me just open that. Twitch. Oh, I'm here. Excellent. All right. So feel free to shoot through chat anything you want to know, but as I said, I will do an Ask Me Anything later on as well. And yeah, company, what do we do? Of course, Greenheart Games. And my name is Patrick, you already know that. So this is the old version, actually. So before I went into tag mod, I wanted to show you the original version because I think it would be cool to see the difference between what the game was before and how it is now. So this is the old version, even before we added the pirate mode. Hence there is no pirate mode here, but we just have a different game length. And all you could do is, you know, select your character and whatnot. These characters actually are very limited. And as you can see, all the males, for example, have the same shoes and trousers. We just change the shirt, and even the hands are mostly the same. This is because this game isn't actually 3D. It's like using little images, and we had to keep it very, very compact. Also, fun fact, the chair is part of your character. All right, let's start. No hints. I know how this game works, hopefully. If I go bankrupt, you can all laugh at me. Stream plan smaller, yes, absolutely, no problem. Done. So easy. This is quite big, wasn't it? All right, let's start our first game. So the first thing you do is click anywhere in Game Dev Tycoon, and of course, it's a Game Dev simulator, so what do? Develop a new game. Let's have a look. And so, you know, you all know there are 3 things you need to do. Pick a topic, and this is actually randomized. Now, fun fact, that wasn't randomized for a very long time. I think it was always space and military and something else. And what we found is every time you started it, you just kept to the same 4 topics, and there wasn't any reason why you would actually, you know, research more. So we randomized it so that you get something that you have to deal with, essentially. So fashion, alternate history, evolution, and space. Well, let's stick with something time appropriate. So let's make a space action game called Space Defenders, of course, for a platform. And here, yeah, we have a really old PC. I don't know who remembers these things, but I love it. They didn't even have a mouse, you know. Tiny screen. I actually had one that was orange. An alternate history with RPG. Yeah, that would be good as well. Let's do PC, and Spaced Out is a much better name. Yeah, Spaced Out. Cool. Text-based. Why not, right? So yeah, that's what you do. You select something, and then you get little technology points and whatnot. And of course, you all know that, but I wanted to just explain a little bit why we did it this way. So, you know, Game Dev Tycoon gives you 3 stages. So here is the first question. Why? What is a space action game like? And our intention with the whole game was really to try to make you think about what the game is and whatnot. Anyway, so now I'm spaced out. Spaced out. I'll assume... Okay, apparently the sound is better on Twitch than YouTube, so head over to Twitch, people. So yeah, I won't make any decisions. I will just do the lazy thing and says everything is equally valid. And then I get points, and next time I make a decision, I say everything is important, which, as you can see here, divides also the time allocation that we use to work on features the same way. And then lastly, I will say nothing is important. And yeah, and I already have 2 bugs, and that is essentially the same. You know, if I put it all down or put it all up, it's all the same. But that was very difficult to explain, so that's why we added this allocation preview back here. And yeah, let's do that and see the carnage of our bad decisions come back to us. Bugs. I'm definitely happy to hear ideas. and what you like and don't like, because we do have quite a lot of ideas for Game Dev Tycoon 2. And so the comment was, you know, I wish the sales wouldn't end automatically. And we heard it a lot, and I think that's probably something we'll explore in a future version. Like good graphics in a text-based game. Yes, absolutely. Let's trash it. Let's be half... Nah, okay, let's release it. We need money, I think. Oh, good judgment. Create a game with a good topic genre combination. And now we'll get our first reviews. I did say Game Dev Tycoon 2, but I shouldn't have said that, should I? Yeah, we're not working on it right now, but it is a long-term plan. Now we sit back and see what people think of it. Oh no. So that's what you get for not making any decisions during development. And that's essentially our whole idea was, you know, we don't want to make you succeed in this game just because you have a new engine or because you added some points to whatever, but we wanted to make you think about what it is and what's more important for your game. So anyway, let's try to do a better one this time. Alternate history and RPG was an idea, I think, before. Any title for that? Throw it over to me if you want. Alternate history and RPG, what could it be? You know, when people say alternate history, it's usually the first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, the Nazis won or something. But, you know, there must be something else as well that's quite interesting. Witcher. Witcher's alternate history. Yeah. No, the first reviews are not always terrible. So that's that was our goal, you know. We wanted to make you able to have good reviews right at the beginning. And when I say good, it's like 7 or 8. You won't make a 10 because you don't have the tech yet. But also later in the game, we wanted to make it possible that you completely fail, even if you have great tech and a great team and whatnot. So, do we have a name yet for Alternate History RPG? I wish we voted. That's my RPG. That reminds me, should add a little banner. Have you voted yet? Because for you US guys, I think it's almost over, but please, instead of watching me, go out and vote if you haven't done it. So let's do that and create it this time in graphics. All right. Ooh, we get moderate responses for our first spaced out version. And please vote yes. And so now, okay, so RPG, you know, and even if you haven't played the game before, what we kind of thought is everyone has played games. So what you do here is essentially just imagine what kind of good games have I played RPGs and what was really cool about that. And in RPGs, of course, the story and quests are really important. The gameplay as well, I would say, engine quite a bit as well, but the thing that catches people easily here is that there's always a default time allocation, so you can't say there is no focus on the engine. So even if I drag it all the way down, there's still a little bit, so I will just leave it at that and click continue. Where can we vote, please? Well, you know, I'm not assuming everyone is from the United States here. So yeah, but if you are, go and vote. I'm in Australia, by the way, which is why it's sunny outside and a good 32 degrees, I believe. Celsius. Okay, alternate history. Dialogues, I would say, very important. Level design, quite important. Artificial intelligence, maybe less so, although still quite important. Good. So let's sit back. We have a lot of design, not so much technology, which I think is fine for an RPG. And here, world design, graphic and sound. World design, hugely important. Graphics also. Sound, I think a little bit less. If you think about sound, you know, it's more for, if you have an action game, you really need to hear, for example, where your enemies are and whatnot. For an RPG, of course, voiceover would be great, but we're not there yet because the game starts kind of way back. And yeah, so let's go with that and wait until we're done. Got some good research points, which is nice. And let's wait until the bugs are finished. And one trick is to just wait a little longer to see if we can get not another bug, hopefully, like that, but a few more points perhaps. But if you wait too long, it's actually not good for you. So anyway, finish. Doesn't seem like we get more of that. So, new record on design, which is nice. And in most of these screens you can click to speed up the animations. Okay, alright, and we release. So I've just got some info that 70 people approximately are watching. So thanks everyone for tuning into our first stream. It's fantastic to have you all. Let's see how... Okay, this is now industry news. Recent market studies suggest that the Govodor G64 is steadily outselling competitors in the PC sector. Consumers prefer the lower price, greater availability, and the flexible hardware configuration over other home computers. So, you know, this is really for nostalgia, but also for teaching people how the history of the computer and consoles kind of evolved. So, you know, here we're telling the story that back then it wasn't actually clear at all that a PC would be better than the G64. And so that's surprising to us now, of course, because the G64 or C64, of course, it's just a parody name, didn't win out in the end, but it wasn't always clear that that would be the case. So we kind of try to highlight this, that, you know, history wasn't as certain as it was before. So, yeah, Doom for PC is what they say. So someone asked, how long did it take for Game Dev Tycoon as an idea to completion? So first of all, the idea was inspired by Game Dev Story, of course, which is from Kerasoft. If you haven't played it, definitely check it out. It's on mobile everywhere. And yeah, we kind of wanted to make a game that is a bit more about decisions you make and whatnot. But from prototype and everything, I think 1.5 years for me and my brother Daniel, until we released the first version of it. And then we added, you know, workshop support and localizations and all sorts of things. So it took a while longer. Okay, well, save 7. Oh, almost thought it was P6. That would be not so good. And this looks much better, right? Can we get an 8? Can we get an 8? Come on, yes! Thank you, all games. Yes, so in Game Dev Tycoon sense, this is a good rating, right? Everything above kind of 7 to 10, I mean 10 is amazing, it's kind of a masterpiece, but 7, 8 is really good. And this is a good, you know, example of what we wanted to actually achieve, is that I don't have an engine yet, I don't have any tech that I researched, but I still managed to create a game that sells better, simply because I made different decisions. We have now 47 fans, awesome, yes. So what we found out is also that sales record, nice, 10,000 units. This is, you know, back in the day that would be impossible, of course, because you would have shareware or something else, and we didn't make it that realistic that you had to, you know, deal with the distribution method back in the day and whatnot. But anyway, let's make a game report. So this was the feature we added for the Steam release, because previously the game didn't tell you why something was worse than the other thing. So if we research spaced out, hopefully the game report will tell us some hints on what happens. Do Half-Life 3? Absolutely, but I think for that I will have to wait a bit. Yes. Yes, so it tells me for spaced out, a space action game, story quests seems to be not important for this type of game. So this is not all the info, so the more you research, the more info you get. And also you get research points, which are super useful. But I mean, you all know that. I'm just talking over why we wanted to make this that way. Okay, next up, according to rumors, the Japanese company Ninvento is planning to launch its very own home gaming console. Ninvento is known for the widely successful arcade game, Dinky King. Yes, so, you know, for those of you who didn't know, like Nintendo wasn't actually making console games before. I think they were making cards or something like that before even going to arcades, but arcade was the big thing. And then suddenly they were like, okay, we did arcades, we want to do a gaming console. And of course that changed gaming history forever. But back then, of course, many thought it wouldn't. So many industry experts doubt that home gaming consoles will take off for several reasons, you know, because it's expensive, it's not as social as going somewhere and whatnot. So yeah, all of that I think is quite nice to have in there. tells us we did a good job. Thank you game. Okay, now the big thing we're working towards is the custom game engine. We don't have enough research points yet, so we, I think, need to make another game. Let's see, fashion, evolution. Let's see what we can research actually topic-wise. Rhythm, comedy, romance. Yes, ninja. Why not combine it? Ninja, romance, comedy, rhythm would be a good one. But we don't have multi-topic yet, so yes, I don't know actually. I think I might just stick with evolution and make an evolution ninja. Yes, ninja would be good as well. But I will make an evolution strategy game for the PC, saying PC domination. And yes. Anyway, couple more questions, I think. Did you have another job while making GDT? Yes, we both did. So we started both doing that on the side, and let me tell you, it's even for such a small game, it's intensely stressful to do a game on the side. So we, yeah, we were glad then after a while that we could change out of that. Anyway, so for this strategy evolution game, I think gameplay is really important, and story quests probably less so. The engine quite important as well. Let's go there, and little dude is drawing something. So we don't really have that many animations. Before we kind of planned all sorts of things, like we planned that you go out there in a kitchen and whatnot, but you know, the tech was so difficult to actually get people moving that we didn't do it. And for the longest time we stressed about it. We're like, people will hate this because the characters don't move, and yeah, not so many people were upset about that. Evolution strategy is Spore. Yeah, that's sort of, yeah, I think so. I mean, it's kind of strategy action, I guess. But yeah, evolution strategy, artificial intelligence, I think would be quite important. Dialogues less so. How long did it take us to translate the language? Well, we have to thank the community for that, because it's crowdsourced translated. But to show you in the settings, there are a number of languages, I think 17 all in all. And even though the community did it for us, and we are very thankful, and you can actually, when you select the language, you can see the people who were involved mostly. It was quite a challenge to do it. And also we're one of the few games who do Arabic, so you can actually do right to left, which was quite a challenge. Yes, so strategy, graphics, of course, sound probably also quite well, and well designed for evolution, I guess is quite important. Let's keep it about even, maybe. Yeah, not sure. How many code lines? Yes, I think 30,000 lines. Handwritten JavaScript. So it might not be obvious, but this thing is a website. So yeah, we wrote it in HTML5. I think we were the second game on Steam that did HTML5. The first one was Wizard's Lizard, I think, from Lost Decade Games. And yeah, we implemented a little thing to make HTML5 games better in Steam by adding integration and whatnot. So, Ninvento has confirmed recent rumors, and they have released a test. So here is our image. We had this fantastic Ukrainian artist doing all these images, and so they're all original art, and painstakingly doing it in an isometric perspective. So we're always super happy about the images and whatnot. Yes, we actually, I should have worn this shirt. We printed a shirt with the entire source code of Game Dev Tycoon for the team in Austria who did the mobile version, and I think it was 30,000 lines, yes. Okay, let's finish. So this looks quite good. Design. Let's have a look at our game history, actually. Oh, we don't show that. See, this is a good thing. We don't show how much you made, how many points and whatnot, but I think the tag mod might, so that would be a good thing to remember when we play later. So yeah. Level up. So here we go. We get some experience, and one thing to note here, if you use a new topic, a new combo, you get a bonus quite a bit, so 1.5 times more experience. And that was our way. Like, we didn't want you to just focus on, I only make strategy games for the PC forever from here on out. We wanted you to experiment, because that's what the game is about. So that's why you get a bonus when you do that. And now we go immediately and research a custom game engine, because that is how you make good games in this game. All right, so let's see. PC domination. Oh, it's so close. 7. So this is randomized, right? It starts doing random numbers, but then as closer as it gets to the time of revealing it, they only vary a little bit. That was our way to adding tension, because if you look at this, there's no graphics here. There's not much sound at all, really. So it was quite difficult to make this exciting to do. And we thought in screenshots this will look really boring, but I think this number switching actually worked out quite nicely. So yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, an Austrian company called Rarebyte did the mobile port of Game Dev Tycoon, which turned out to be just fantastic. So, maybe Chad can, who is manning some of the moderation today, can post a link to that. And yeah, we haven't ruled out bringing the game to more platforms. So, keep telling us where you want it, and we will have a look if we can make it happen. So we get Jason here offering us some contract work. Yeah. Another couple of tidbits here is, you know, the time goes in years and months and weeks, and that's really just to avoid confusion with, or two reasons really. It's very difficult to do time and dates correctly in code because you have like different time zones, and even sometimes, you know, things change from a given year to the next and whatnot. But also, we didn't want to think whether, you know, a platform release is realistic, and we wanted to be able to space it better so that platforms kind of came out at a good interval. So that's why we opted to do this instead. And of course, Game Dev Story did that as well, and it was one thing we just accepted as that's a really good idea. Let us do it too. I think with, you know, with games where you kind of make inspirations like that, you have to know why certain things work in this genre, and there's no point in reinventing the wheel if it's a good idea. New research available. So we have our engine. And so my plan, I think we still have the game plan up here, so we should actually mark that as in process. We are doing dev commentary. So we'll do a dev commentary first, and then we'll change into the new version and see what's different. And then at 5 p.m. PST, we will invite, or earlier, we'll see how we feel, we'll invite the tag mod guys to do an interview, and I will play tag mod while talking to it. So that's the plan. Let's have a look. So now we can do a custom engine. And this is really good. So, I have $250,000 in my garage. Wow. I wish real life would be like that. By the way, we get so many emails from people who are real developers who are like, you know, I work in game development and my daughter played Game Dev Tycoon and now she thinks it's really easy to make $1 million. And I just have to say, sorry everyone. It's not our intention to make it look easy. Have them try the pirate mode, I guess. All right, let's do a game report first and see how many research points we can get. All right, the Nintendo is out, so maybe we'll do a platform for that first. Yeah, that's good. All right, and contract work. Let's have a look at this. So this is also an idea that was in Game Dev Story, and it just allows you to kind of get over a little bit of a financial hurdle, I guess. We implemented very differently from that, but the idea was just that you kind of bet against how many people do I have and how big is the contract versus how much time and what penalty and pay does it give. And it's actually quite frustrating because it's hard to judge. Like 315 is obviously easier than 1111, and they're the same kind of, well, this gives me more pay, so that would be more thing. But, you know, if you accept it, for example, let's have a look. Oh, wow, they made a lot of sell. So you have to work off these points. And sometimes people scratch their heads. No, he's scratching your head. Oh, dear. No, I won't make it then. So this is what happens, right? And, oh, can I make it? No! Just about. So yeah, I feel you all. And you know, you might say, why the heck did we do that? Just remove the head scratching. But for us, it's kind of a good abstraction of what happens in game development, is that sometimes you get stuck, and then, you know, this is kind of the thing. I mean, of course you don't scratch your head for 3 weeks, although maybe we do sometimes. Anyway, so a little bit of a penalty. The penalty isn't too great. It's mostly just annoying. But he tells me as well. Otherwise, those penalties quickly add up. Much like being a writer, exactly. Yeah, I have so much respect for writers because, like, game development, I think, sometimes a really hard job because it's such a long process, right? Tavern Keeper we've worked on for 4 years now. and we're not done yet. And it's quite difficult to keep motivation up for that long and work on that. But at least we're a team. Like a lot of authors work on these huge projects and books by themselves, which is absolutely amazing that they can do that. Yes, contract work. He doesn't hold grudges though, so that's good. So what do we have? We have 17 research points. We could do game tutorials. Let's do that too. And then we can't afford $40,000. So of course, you know, $8,000 a month for a garage isn't realistic. But again, the point wasn't that it's realistic. It gives you a little bit of feel on what your expenses and whatnot are. All right, so let's see if we can make a custom engine now and how much that would cost us. Everything, linear story, game tutorials, 120, that's a lot. Let's remove linear story. And okay, any good names for game engine? Who knows names for game engine? I mean, Source, right? How many people are there on the Greenheart Games team came up as a question. You go to greenheartgames.com/about and you see, I think 7 people. Someone asked, why isn't it possible to abort a game development? Because you would always abort it. No. That is a good question. There is no good reason for it. We just didn't implement it. I think it would be a good thing for mod, I guess. Yes. Blender. Any good names for fictional game engines? How about that game engine there? All right. The engine Uno. That's a nice one. The engine Uno. At least it gives us an easy way, right, to make the second. Which we presumably would be duo and then tray, but I don't know how that, you know, after that I have no idea, so you guys have to help me. So anyway, let's do it. And we spent a whole bunch, $90,000 credits, as commonly kept. How much cost the development of Game Dev Tycoon? Yes, that's a good question. Well, there's 2 things to calculate cost in game development, especially when you're an indie game developer, right? And one common way is that you don't count your time, and you just, you know, and you don't count the expenses you have of rent and food and whatever, and then you work for 7 years and you spend $5,000 on contractors, and that's your cost, which of course isn't right, because, you know, you need to live as well. So we haven't counted our expenses or time, but it's 1.5 years of very intense work. Thank you for posting all the letters on how we name our engine next. But anyway, so we didn't count that. But as far as contracting expenses are concerned, there were about, I think, around 20 to 40, somewhere in between $1,000. So that was all self-funded. Yeah, because we wanted to have this look good, you know. Now, of course, a new game is much more expensive than that. So anyway, let's continue doing here. So we need a new topic, right? That's for sure. Can't see this. This is awkward because I can't click on this, and it sounds like a bug. And you have to realize as a player then that you only have 9 research points, but you need 10. And this isn't very easy to see. So this is also in the new version. That's no longer the case. You can see that. So problem is we don't have anything to research. We don't have, but let's do contract work and see if we can do that. 19 versus 22. Well, I guess 4 weeks. Yeah, let's just do the bigger one, I guess. Because we want research points here. Do we think Game Dev Tycoon was worth it in the end? We were extremely lucky, thanks to you all, for buying the game and supporting us. So, you know, we wouldn't be where we are without it. And there is no way we would have ever attempted to do Tavern Keeper, which is, of course, quite a big project for us. Okay, so now we have 11 research points and we can do that. So let's do that. Comedy. I feel like a comedy game would be nice. Let's do a comedy game. Thank you for buying the game, yes. I watched the stream and this guy gave some critique on Game Dev Tycoon, which was all fairly good and whatnot, and he said he played it 3 times through, and then at the end of it he said, you know, I wouldn't recommend buying it for full price. And it's like, okay, well, that's That's how it is, right? You spend like 30 hours on a game and you wouldn't pay 10 euros for it or dollars. Okay, let's try out. Let's do a comedy game for what's comedy and adventure maybe for I can't afford the test, so let's do PC instead and using our new engine, and I'm forgetting the name for now. Just develop that. Okay. And while you're all here, maybe Chad, you could post a link to Tavern Keeper so that you guys can sign up for the newsletter, because we definitely are looking forward to showing you more of that, obviously. So, okay, adventure. Well, story is super important for adventure. Engine probably not at all, and gameplay quite a bit. Let's do it this way. Oh. Okay, someone finished the pirate mode. That's amazing. That is very difficult to do, so well done. Dialogues, artificial intelligence. Well, this really depends, right? Artificial intelligence. If you have like a good, I don't know, a good comedy, you know, dual kind of thing, then you might need it. But I would say not so much. But level design, and let's see. It was quite easy, actually, the pirate mode. Well, then you must be a very experienced player, because let me tell you, we went bankrupt a number of times playing it, and we know how the game works. Okay, sound for comedy, I would say, is quite important. Graphics as well, well designed as well. I'm a bit torn. We'll put everything on top, but that's not really a good decision usually. So let's say well designed is better than sound for that, and graphics, yeah, let's go with that. Okay. We are actually almost bankrupt, so this will be our saving grace, hopefully. Wait for a little longer. And just before we pay the rent. Ah, no! Okay, so your bank account is in the red, but we can overdraft by 50, I think, so we should be fine for that. And that looks quite nicely. Don't forget the name. Yes, thank you. Oh, last minute. So, any suggestions? We have a comedy adventure on the PC. I'll wait a little to collect suggestions here and trash it if none comes up. That's good. So I think this will be the last game we do here, and then I'll show you the new version in a while. Yeah. This but a laugh. Day of the Tentacle. Oh, that was so amazing. What else do we have? Funny Things, Friends the Game. Such good names. Game of Games. A game of laughs. The divorce game. I think I will go with Day of the Tentacle and release it. Okay, let's sit back and enjoy. Not bad, not bad. I think we could maybe do a bit better. Yes, outstanding. That's the best we've had, I think. Bankrupt the Game would also be a good name. Cool, alright. So hopefully that will bring us out from a long stretch. Oh no, what happened? See, it's named game number 4. I think I actually didn't click the OK button when changing the name. So there you go. Even I do that. Bad design. Past Patrick. Terrible. Oh, see, we're back. Cool. Cool. So I might just change over then into the new version and show you a few changes there. Bit early, but anyway, I think it's okay. Save. Okay, be back soon. I'll quit this actually. Boop, boop. Gone. And this is the version we've released this year, actually, after the mobile release, went live. And yeah, we made a few changes. So if you go on Steam and have it, that's version 1.615, of course. Let's create a new game. This is all the same. I'll point out some differences. So first of all, we have a randomize button, and the default character is also randomized. Now, we actually just thought that is a good idea to start with. We got a lot of flack from people who were really upset about that. But anyway, I think it's nice to have random characters to start with. And yeah, we added this new pirate mode, which I won't go into right now yet. So let's stick with that and just have a look at some of the differences. No hints. And let's make a new game. Minor difference with an icon. Oh, wow. Here it's much more different, right? And we can thank Rarebyte for these beautiful icons. They were all made for the mobile version. So they felt that for mobile, you know, it felt a bit dry. Previously, we only had the names. We actually made this decision on purpose because we thought, you know, it's better for you as a player to have that in your head of what it means, for example, business and whatnot, or government. But we have to admit that that was not probably the most cohesive idea, because this is actually much nicer to look at. So anyway, let's make a government simulation. Now this is too dry, although still good for today, I think. Let's do a mad science government simulation game. Strategy, order G64. Here be science. Just to look at what else is new. So Trump the game. Yes, that would have been the more appropriate name. Okay, strategy, gameplay, engine, story quests. So if you played the game, you know, a number of times, and it's probably easy to breeze through these things. And yeah, we didn't really want to make it too difficult, but also we we didn't write percentages here for a reason, because we didn't want people to stress about it. Like, should I have dialogues as 19% or 20%? It's all fluid kind of thing, which I think works for most people, but some players really prefer to have the percentage. And I think our own chat actually implemented a mod for that. So yeah, and I think the tag mod has that as well. Dialogues, artificial, I don't know, dialogues, probably mad science. Mad science? Kind of like that. Yeah. So where are you all from? I would love to have some country names just to see if someone is up really late in Europe or really early in Australia, like I am. Scotland, wow. Denmark, Germany. Isn't it really late there? Brazil, fantastic. New Zealand, yes. Back from lunch, eh? All right. Yes, so release, and this is all still the same. So there's nothing new here, but soon I think we should see a new review screen. So this was also added from the mobile version, just a little bit more of a kind of good feeling when you get good reviews, not I have now. But also, I think at the beginning it's a bit confusing, because these numbers go from 10 and these only go from 5. So at the moment you might think this is really good. But anyway, yes. Are we on the next point in the stream plan? Yes, we are. Thank you. Let's update that actually. Check here. And we're doing this. And soon I think they're actually going for dinner. So, yes, I think the rest. 1 AM. Where is it 1 AM? Oh, in Europe. Well, I'm from Austria originally, as you might hear. And yeah, here we have a new feature. So this is the sidebar notifications. And honestly, I don't know why it took us that long to implement that. And just a story about that, because originally we wanted these pop-ups, and it's really bad user interface design usually, because you don't want to interrupt your players, right? And we wanted it for one reason, to streamline the experience, because we thought, you know, it's such a text-heavy game, even at the beginning, that if you don't read the text, you have no idea what you're supposed to do. So we needed you to actually pay attention to the text. And one way to do that was to just interrupt everything you're doing and have you have like little tidbits, little snippets of text that you click through. And that worked really well, I think. That's you know, one of the reasons why it's easier to get into that rather than big simulation games where you kind of have a complex tutorial that you can easily miss or skip over. But it meant that every time a platform released, the game was interrupted. Every time something happened, the game was interrupted. And thanks to Rarebyte, who made the mobile version, they fought long and very hard. I'm sure Rainer on the chat remembers. To say, no, this isn't right. You shouldn't be always interrupted. So what they did for the mobile version is actually implement a feature where some of it, or initially they had everything come down to the side project kind of sidebar. And when I played it, I was like, I hate it. Because, you know, I didn't feel like I know what's happening to my company. I didn't feel like the game paid attention to what's happening. So after many months and many discussions, we kind of finally settled on a system that looks a bit like this. So in the new version, you can actually decide which type of message comes into the message queue, which is this thing down here, and which is auto pop-up. So by default, we have, I think, pretty much everything in auto pop-ups. But for example, game reports and sale reports are not. So you can change that to have it all in message queue if you have played the game before and you know everything. And yeah, you can throw these as well, which is kind of fun. Anyway, so yeah, and this will sit down here, well, a bit. It stacks also, and you can click on it, and then it just opens the normal thing. So this is probably the biggest change in the new version, and also something that I think made it much easier for the tag mode team to do this themselves. Yes. So, out of interest, who here has streamed the game before, and what was your favorite moment of streaming the game? While I will have a look at my next topic. Vampire comedy. Is that a cow? Yes, I think so. Vocabulary. Still a vocabulary game. If you have ideas for a vocabulary game name, then prepare that as well. Is it possible that it shows one of the alpha or beta versions of Game Dev Tycoon? Yes, maybe. Let me develop one more game and then I'll have a look actually. All right, develop. So, vocabulary action. Let's bash some keys. Word mash. Oh, this is better. I can't spell. Thank you, Techno. 5489. Let's do it for the G64. Should be an RPG, right? Vocabulary RPG. No, let's make an action game. So, favorite stories in streaming, someone said I did. My favorite moment was when I got bankrupted after release some stupid AAA games. Well, it's a lot harder to do AAA than you might think, right? Even consoles and whatnot. Hello from Poland, hello! Yes, so story quests in a vocabulary game, I would say, are quite important. Engine. You know, you have to display letters. Unless you do Chinese or Arabic, you don't actually need much of an engine for that, but it's surprisingly difficult to display different languages. More like a chill-out stream, yes. I think we're actually surprised that this is a thing people did to begin with, to stream Game Dev Tycoon, because, you know, it's not that action-heavy. It isn't that much that is happening. But I think it's nice to kind of just work on a little virtual company and whatnot. So I'm surprised to see it, and I love when I see it. Yes, dialogues, level design. I have no idea what I'm doing really. So this, for example, now we've seen it, we've played the game, so we can go and change this in the messages and say, well, you know, industry news, put it in the message queue and this as well, and then that's easier. Yeah, Twitch integration is interesting because we're kind of thinking of doing more with that for our next game. It's certainly interesting to have input from people. Okay, sound, graphics. I love that. Graphics for vocabulary games. Guess so, right? World design. You could have a whole world mapped out where different letters are rulers and whatnot. This is a terrible game. What am I making? 9 and 3? You kidding me? Ah, just finish and dump it. But this is the question, right? I'm almost going bankrupt anyway, so you could just trash it, but let's just release it. Let's just see what we actually get. Oh, I can't spell. This will be terrible. Pretty bad. This is actually better than I thought it would do. This is better. Abysmal. That's what it should be, right? Yeah. Any idea if you'd work on a new Game Dev Tycoon? Yes, we would love it. I think Tavern Keeper is, of course, our first priority. But, you know, Game Dev Tycoon 2, we would love to do that at some point in time. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, you know, if that bad, we're still selling okay. Yeah. So, we will try to recover. Let's make something quickly before we pay rent. Say, business simulation for the PC called Tag Mod. Nah. Yes. Well, can't be really a mod. Tag Mod the game. Okay. Transport Tycoon. Oh my gosh, I love this game. This was one of the best game and so fascinating. I think it was written in assembler, which is just insane. Yeah. So gameplay is super important for simulation games. Story quests not as much. Yeah, actually, yeah, a little bit. And engine quite as well. So let's go with that. Yeah. So someone said, you know, Raider said, I think there's so many avenues that could make GDT2 a really good game. I think that's the actual problem. Also, like it's difficult to decide. You know, because Game Dev Tycoon 1 is quite casual, but a lot of people want it to be more realistic, to have more features and whatnot. And of course, that's the first thing you're thinking of as well when you make a sequel. But there's so many directions that you could go in. In a way, I think the work we're doing on Tavern Keeper really gives us breathing room to accept and see how it is that Game Dev Tycoon worked and whatnot. All right, let's do this and that. Let's see. Did I try Mad Game Tycoon? I did, yeah. One of the nicest things about Game Dev Tycoon becoming, you know, quite popular on Steam was that there are more games like that coming out. So I love these games. So I played pretty much all of them, I think. Mad Games Tycoon. I played Software Inc., which is of course a very different beast. But yeah, they're all very cool to try. I think. What am I doing? Simulation. That. Yeah. Okay, this looks a bit better, but lots of bugs. So the problem in the early stages, like Game Dev Tycoon, there's a bit of randomness, not as much as people usually suspect, but there is a bit. And particularly in the beginning of the game, this has more of an impact, because if some of these points actually turn into bugs, then I don't manage to get as many as I need. But I still did alright, right, after my abysmal first game, so let's see. Yeah, I've heard, and I think they're from Germany, right? I think they were actually also inspired by software. What is it called? Software Tycoon? No, it was called differently. There's an old game that had a different. Oh, tag mod. This looks good, folks. Yes. Well, this is nice to read, isn't it? Very enjoyable. Oh. Lost. This is nice. So, one of the running jokes in Game Dev Tycoon, if you... Just 1 second. Oh. Fighting with my Headset. Headphones. This is better. One of the running jokes is that all games kind of a bit nasty, and this actually has a reason, because we kind of roll out, like we decide how good a game is first, and then we essentially randomize slightly in these 4 reviews here. So if we say, well, this game is about a 7 or 8, then, you know, the numbers would end up between 7 or 8. But then at the last moment, we kind of make sure that it's close to what we want it to be. So often if you get like really good ones, like 10, 10, 10, and then no gamer headset. Well, I have 2 here, but I kind of don't like them. So yeah, so if you get 10, 10, 10, then at the last moment you say, well, this is not really a 10 game, so you get a 9, which which of course is very disappointing. So you know, this is why this joke is that all games are really difficult. But in the new version, in the 1.6, we actually added an 11 as well, and all games is actually more likely to give you that, so that kind of gives you a surprise when that happens. Yeah. So let's see, we are not going bankrupt. Yes, that's pretty good. 33 fans. All right. Generate game report. I can't spell. Let's see. Yeah, if you go for 10 achievements, that will be annoying. All right. One of the, you know, I think for me at least, unique things about how we approached sales is that it's not linear. So if you make a game, an 8 game, it's not, you know, it's not just, I don't know, 20% fewer sales than a 10 game. It's massively different. And of course that's very realistic, right? If you make a really good game, then you get a lot more income than just a good game. So yeah, so that is the cause why you suddenly, you know, I have like $44,000, but I need $1 million to get out of the garage. And that seems like impossible to achieve. But if you make a really good game, you actually get there. Okay, what did I just do? Did I make a... I didn't make anything. Let's do a game engine. Why is there no donation button below? Sorry, yeah, we didn't create one. Happy though to have you here, so thanks for that. And yeah, maybe gift the game to someone if you want, or sign up to a newsletter. That's very, very important. I can't stress this enough, because you know, because it's very difficult then to tell, you know, for us to tell, okay, we're done, we have a new game. I need to create a new game, otherwise we'll go out of business. So I've done, let's do a music, let's do another strategy game, government. A government simulation, why not? This time, just for the good of everyone. Why always gloomy, right? We don't have a Patreon site. We're considering doing something like that, perhaps when we get closer to Tavern Keeper. So if you, yeah, definitely great to hear if there is interest for it. So now we have done a couple of game reports, right? And we get a little bit of an info here. And it says, well, simulation game, maybe not as important, the story quest. So this is also something we added for the Steam release. Okay, let's see. We just keep it about the same, really. Now that's a fantasy game for the good of everyone. Yes, it's easy to feel like that. I feel ya. All right. Game Tycoon reminded me of the movies. The movies, I think, was the very last AAA tycoon game that came out. After that, the genre had kind of died away, as far as I know. Which is really a shame, because it was quite a good game as well. Okay, this is the same. Government. We should do a bit more world design for that, I think. Sound. No one wants that. Okay. So this is fading out and whatnot. You can get quite a few of these. Yeah, alright. Do you ever get tired of the GDD music soundtrack? I actually don't. Which is surprising. Very surprising. It was very difficult to pick because we didn't have the money to make our own music, so this is all like royalty-free music we purchased. And for a simulation game, you kind of want something that's a bit like elevator music, but not as bland, but you don't want it to be too interruptive. So I don't know, I mean, you tell me if we nailed it or not, but I personally don't get sick of it. Maybe the startup sound, but that was more like we wanted something like an 80s game show, you know, like something bombastic coming in kind of thing. All right, release that. GDT as a soundtrack. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a soundtrack. It has music. Generate, always generate. For those of you who are on Facebook or somewhere else, like if you want to show up in the chat, I think you have to go to Twitch to do that. So it's Twitch TV Greenheart Games. Would like some Rammstein music. Yes. Create a mod for that. That would be interesting to see. For the good of everyone. See, nice experience, good game, played it for days, very enjoyable. Why not? Why can't we have that in real life? See, this is what makes this just a fantasy game. Thanks, Rainer, for checking in from Austria, and yeah, hello to the Rabbi team. Thank you for all your work you've done on the mobile version. So, let's see what we can research. Extreme sports. Now this is, I think, one of my favorite icons. It's just maybe because everyone kind of, I don't know, I did a few parachute jumps, but you know, of course, wingsuit is different beast entirely. I think you need to do thousands of normal jumps before you could do that. But it's kind of the dream of everyone. You know, you fly around. So let's do this. Let's do this. Extreme sports. GDD for mobile, more popular than Diablo Immortal. I won't comment. Okay, done. So, let's create it. Extreme sports, genre, action. Oh, let's do it for the test if we can afford it. Yes. And any names, please, for an extreme sport. It doesn't need to be wingsuit flying, could be anything. This is the one downside of having icons. It kind of leans you to a specific direction. And I have to fight with my headphones. Just one sec. I hope to die. Good name. Yes, I am one of the creators of the game. So the game was made by me and my brother Daniel. But I'm in Australia and my brother is in Austria, so he is likely asleep. Unless he's lurking in the chat, and then he should definitely say hello. Extreme sports. Going to BlizzCon. It's a bit too edgy, I think. Oh my god, I got the writer's block achievement. So yeah, so if you take too long coming up with a name, you get an achievement called the writer's block, and that was actually inspired by a friend of mine who, when I showed him a prototype, was just like, I can't think of a name. And yeah, it's on purpose. Like, we didn't include a name generator for that purpose, because we want you to think about what games you want to make. So if we just have a button that generates a random name, it might be funny once or twice, but after a while you just click on that all the time, right? Okay, what do we have? Bonebreaker. Bonebreaker. Yeah, okay. Text-based, nah, that's not. We have made a 180-degree change for our company. First we do the For the Good of Everyone, and the next game is Bonebreaker. This is how you build a fan base, people. Yes, engine. Although gameplay is more important. Story quests, nah. Yeah, so if you don't name a game, then the reviewers can comment on that and say, you know, for example, the game is terrible, just as the name suggests, kind of thing. Or the opposite as well, if you make a good game and it's not named, then there's a despite the name and whatnot. And it was just our way to kind of show the player that the game world cares about it, sort of thing. All right, yes. Getting hard to stay awake. I think Twitch is recording it, so don't feel like you have to stay up and miss tomorrow morning because of me. But thanks for being here. I wasn't sure what to expect for a first stream, so here you go. Okay, world design, sound. Sound is probably super important for this. Graphic and world design, nah. World design, I think, is more like not just the look of it, but you know, the intricacies of characters and the lore as such. So I guess Bonebreaker doesn't have as much lore. You can right-click to dismiss here if you don't know that. It's a neat little trick to keep this kind of nice and clean. Alright, alright, alright. Wait, oh yes, one more tech. Can we get another one? That's the question. Come on, use your nimble fingers. Hit the keyboard. Nah, I'll give up. Okay, new records. Let's release that. So there are some Easter eggs in the game. Shall we go for one? Is the question. Oh, first let's look at this. Bonebreaker. It's alright. Thank you, Strike. I'm glad you enjoyed the game. Well, honestly, I kind of, you know, someone said if I don't remember how to play my own game, and yeah, it's actually quite nice to come back after so many years and play it, because I haven't played it in a long time, normally. Okay, let's go for a Easter egg. So... So who has the Easter egg here? Because that will be a bit of a spoiler. Yes, so if you look around the room, this is, I mean, some of the first reaction you get, hey, there's a DeLorean, which is of course the Easter egg, because we kind of wanted to, you know, transport you back in time. That's what the first panel says and whatnot. But then we just wanted to start you off by playing, like, if you play the game a lot and you see like posters around and whatnot, then that gives you a clue. So in this case, this is a poster of Pong, which is one of the first action games I think that I've ever played. Let's say, well, it doesn't fit anything, so you can't really make it. You could say extreme sports, but one of the problem is that if you make the same topic and the same genre, then you get kind of blasted. So let's have a look if we actually did make it an action game. Yes. Yeah, sorry, we need a new topic. We need a new topic that fits. Sports, perfect. See, the RNG gods are on my side. Yes, so here's an engine reminder, because the way you actually get to the second level is definitely by creating a custom engine. Otherwise, you'll stay here in the garage. And believe it or not, there are people who finish the game in the garage, and there's no achievement for that. Partly because I don't want anyone to suffer through that to complete the achievements, but it's very impressive nonetheless when people do that. Okay, let's make our Pong. This will be the most disappointing Easter egg probably ever seen, but you know, Easter eggs in simulation games, how do you make them? Okay, let's do this, and just keep an eye on this Pong poster here. Gameplay. Of course, now the stress comes. Does it actually work? Is it broken? Did we remove it? Did they rename the game? Stop scratching your head. Nothing yet. See, I forgot when the timing was actually, but I think it should. Oh, it starts. Bing, bing. Boing. There you go. So this is actually the only... Oh, I get an achievement as well. So this, I think, is the only animated achievement Easter egg, because we realized then how difficult it is to do that, to make it align properly and whatnot. And of course, achievements themselves, I think Xbox initially, you know, invented them as such on a grander scale. So your Xbox avatar and whatnot. But for me, like even Stack Overflow, a programming site, has achievements. So we were kind of inspired by that. And of course, for Steam integration, we wanted them. But we had achievements before Steam as well, because we wanted this meta kind of jokes that, you know, for example, if you wait and can't name a game, you get an achievement. And that just brings you a little, hopefully, a little bit of joy when you do something. Okay, Pong. What mods are you using? So this doesn't use any mods, but I will use mods soon. This is just normal 1.6 version on Steam. If you do use the normal one, there is also a nice compact topic mod that makes the topic list a little bit better. But yeah, this doesn't use any mods. One thing I wanted to point out as well is you can flick these, like just by clicking, or if you have the touch screen, which is quite useful. So it's actually not that long if you do that, but if you use the scroll wheel, it might become a bit intense. So where are we at? Let's create some game reports first. So now there's an option that's missing in the game, the option to remake older games and improve them. Yeah, there's no remastering. You can do a sequel, that's right, but you can't make a prequel either, I think. Honestly, by the time we made it, remastering wasn't as popular yet. That has become quite popular in the recent years. Okay, let's do contract. These are, I mean, these are just so silly. Develop a simple library management system, because back then, in the 80s, you would just do that if you would use programming. What else we have? Our staff needs to be taught how to use these modern technologies as spreadsheet software. Let's do that. 3 weeks we have time. I assume we will Skype call someone or something. We have a good 255,000. All right. So this is all done. Let's make our first... Or actually, let's research some technologies. See, now we have waited quite a while, so we have a couple of things we can do. Let's research that. And yeah, for those of us joining us, yeah, I'm the developer of this game. So if you have any questions about the background of it or whatnot, let me know in the chat and I will try to talk about that. Otherwise, I'll just keep playing. And then at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. we'll start playing the tag mod. Yeah, the contracts are usually it's better to focus just on your company, on your gaming company, make games. It's good if you just need a few research points or later on in the levels to kind of keep you afloat better between big projects. Okay, research complete. Let's create a custom engine. So what engine names do we have? Let's use a new one. I think there was something with ice, something. Since astronomical, yes. This is great always when people read out names on chat. I should do it in an accent or something. But anyway, so you're asking, since someone on Facebook mentioned mods, what is your opinion about modders? I know a lot of people in the industry have different outlooks on mods, and while I realize you as a company have embraced mods and hack truthfully, there have been some brilliant ones. So what's my opinion on mods? Yeah, I mean, I find it's I mean, first of all, it's an incredible achievement, some of these mods, that people do. And I'm always saddened to hear when a big company shuts down a mod or something. I mean, I understand the legal reasons and whatnot. And honestly, for some of these huge mods, it probably would be better if they just make their own game instead. But, modding itself is a very, very powerful... okay, I won't use that as a name. A very powerful way to enhance games. And I think it's also great because if a game becomes popular enough, like say RimWorld, for example, or even for our own game, you get so many opinions of must-have features. Like someone says, you must show the percentages at the sliders and whatnot. And we have our reasons why we don't, but there are also many reasons why you would want that. But creating a lot of options in games is always difficult. So having mods that you then allow people themselves to change it is really cool. Yes, okay, so game engine. Game engine, I always use, let's use already, I don't know, one. This is just terrible. Dark matter, why not? Will you letting people mod Tavern Keeper? We would love to. Tavern Keeper is a entirely different beast, I think. So it likely won't be at the start when we release it, but I would be surprised if we don't add modding in some way, shape or form. So Tavern Keeper, you know, there's a lot more to it. Like we have animations, we have art and whatnot, so adding new things isn't as easy. But we have a big focus on narratives, like little stories and whatnot, and I think that might be some of the first things we will allow modding. But none of that is implemented yet. Okay, I have no money. This doesn't look good for me. So let's make a game. Technology, simulation game, or a cheapo PC with my engine. 35,000, that's stretching it already. How complicated is the gameplay in Tavern Keeper compared to Game Dev Tycoon? This is a very good question as well. Let me just see here. Engine, save game, oh, game tutorials. I'll remove this, save us a bit of money. Because story quest isn't as important anyway. No, initially here we had joystick and gamepads and whatnot, but then we were like, how do you tell if a joystick is important for a game? It was a bit difficult, so we removed it after a while. But that's the only thing we removed ever, I think. Sometimes you hear like we removed much more, but that's about it. So the gameplay of Tavern Keeper is, yeah, it is hugely different, I guess. Tavern Keeper is a systems game, so you build your own tavern. But then, you know, you don't have like a clear kind of core loop like here where you just say develop new game, do this, and then get some reviews and continue. Instead, you have like patrons coming in and you need to manage a whole lot of things. Like you manage your staff, you manage the atmosphere in the tavern, like where it's hot and cold, and your larder and whatnot. So that alone means as a player, it will be very different. But one of the things is we allow you to change the time so you can play fast or slow. And by that, I mean, you know, speed up and whatnot. And so our intention is that you can play it as casually or as intense as you want it. So yeah, but it's hugely different from this. It is by choice as well. We wanted to I forgot to name it again. How can that happen? Technology simulation. Please tell me a good name while we go through it, and this time I won't forget it. So this is the thing. I don't even know what I'm making. Technology simulation. Say we're doing back in those days. Oh, I'm running out of money. I need to finish. Cyberpunk 2025. Okay, what do we have? So the problem I made here is before I entered something and I clicked release game, but I need to click this little icon, which is terrible design, as I said before. Okay, Cyberpunk 1985, just to change it up. So now let's release that and see. Are there any features which sounded good on paper but didn't work in the game? I assume this is for Game Dev Tycoon. Oh, let's just sit back and... Wow, this is amazing. So this is a new star and graphics as well from the mobile version. So now we'll probably see the all games effect in action, I would say. Come on, all games, come on! Ah, yep, typical. So, damn you all games. But this is still amazing. So this is kind of the moment we're hoping for, really, when people play the game, that you get really close to bankruptcy, but then you release a really good game, which obviously isn't what we want in real life. So, yeah. Chat window is frozen. Let me quickly just see if I can fix that. Let's see if that works now. Okay. So, wow. Yes. Is it working, the chat window, or not? No. Honestly, I'm not sure what's happening here. Let me just have one quick look. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be working. Look, I will quickly try to capture it in a different way. So give me one moment. It's back to normal. Is it? No. On Twitch it works, yeah. I think. Yeah, I can't capture it, unfortunately. Let me turn it off. So everyone who wants to see the chat, please come to Twitch TV. But I will read out questions anyway. So sorry about that. Let's get rid of that for now. Wow, so here we are. Cyberpunk has achieved a company sales record with over 100,000 and units sold. This is insane, and let's just sit back and watch how we get to 1 million. And we did! So congratulations, you made quite a name for yourself and have saved up a lot of capital. If you want to grow the company further, then moving into a new office is the next step. I found the perfect office situated in a technology park. Would you like to move your company? Yes, we would. So this is a good time, really, to do it. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, so Garage is, you know, the first game section, I guess, and often, like for similar games, that's often not the case. You often just hire people straight away, and one of the reasons it is kind of difficult to bridge that gap. Though here we have then staff position and skills and whatnot, and for example, character info. So if you look at my character here, I'm level 2, but I have 300 skills for everything. And the truth is, this doesn't improve or change in the Garage, so no matter how much I have and what level I am, I'm always at 300. So it took us a while to actually make this work so that you can transition into a company. But also we wanted this this change, because before we were like struggling with, you know, minus 35,000, and now we have over 1 million, or we will have soon. And so a lot of people go and hire a whole bunch of people and then go bankrupt immediately. So that's very realistic, to be honest, but that's the challenge of this new level. So let's have a look. So, oh, I need to do staff management. I wish this would be so easy in real life. Staff management, and off you go. So the game, I always thought the game started in 1980, am I right? Yes, that's the intention. That was the intention, but we didn't want to name it specifically. But we cut out all the very early consoles and whatnot and started with the Nintendo, the first Nintendo. So after the first game crash, essentially, because we thought that would be a bit intense to have that first game crash happen while the game starts. Yeah. Okay. And so this find stuff is very ridiculous. Like you can spend 2 million to find someone, and obviously this is very easy to just miss that and spend all your money on finding someone. But anyway, so spending a little bit gives you more applicants, and here you can say how you filter them. So if you get complex algorithms, you get more tech-heavy people. For game demo, you get more balance, and show reel gives you more artists. In this case, I want someone more of an artist, so let's say show reel. Okay, and while we do that, I will create a gamer report as well. So, and we're half an hour away from playing the tag mode. Okay, let's see. So as you see, the salary options in Game of Tycoon are quite intense, 17,000 per month. And you might think this is totally ridiculous. But I mean, famously, I think Double Fine kind of made the statement that for them an employee costs 10,000 per month, and because it's not just salary, it's office space, it's you know, everything surrounding it. So it's not. I mean, later on it is ridiculous in how much they make, but anyway. So let's see how we want. 17 level 2. I think this one is a pretty good option. This is a bit more balanced. And yeah, let's hire Owen Holmes. You can give them a staff welcome training, which costs you 10 grand, presumably giving you coffee and cake, and they up their happiness level here a bit. So who has gone bankrupt in this level? Let me know via chat, please. And I also want someone tech heavy, so let's spend another 200,000 looking for someone. And I will research a new topic in the meantime. Wild West, why not, right? Yeah, Easter egg. So, I mean, one of the things to point out, so these are all very, very tech heavy. I want kind of a bit more balance like that, maybe. Okay, hire this guy. All right, and why is he so low? That's unusual. Oh yeah, that's one of the features that I think in hindsight don't make that much sense. But what happens is if you hire someone, everyone's efficiency in the company drops. So that's kind of realistic, because you know you need, like, it kind of, if you have a new person on board, then you need to onboard them, and the current project you're working on suffers a little bit for that, I think. But it's one of these things that I wish we wouldn't have done, because it's so hard to describe and explain. And one of the reasons why wikis are kind of important for that. But anyway, so let's try to get over that by making a small game first. So let's make essentially a throwaway prototype. Music simulation game for the PC to save money. And using our engine. We have a lot of money, so that should be okay. But you see the efficiency of everyone is super low. So, okay, first time I played, I made the mistake of go out of the garage with 1 million. Yep, that's very difficult then to do. Music simulation, Guitar Hero. Could be, yeah. So what am I doing? Linear, no, I don't need linear story. This is just to get these guys up to speed, essentially. You see, they're not even generating points yet. So I think this kind of garage to first level is probably the biggest weakness of the game, to be honest. So if you don't have the patience to learn how it works, you probably exit the game then. But a lot of people will actually finish the game, so it's not such a big worry. Definitely something we want to do better in the next one, though. And I am just... Why am I not naming things? That's terrible. So this shouldn't be too bad, actually, so I might release this. Guitar Flash. Yes. Release. So now we get a whole bunch of things. So we can train them and we can research, of course. We have a bunch of stuff to research. So first of all, let's do medium games, so we can actually make medium games with a team rather than doing small ones. And then gameplay is often important, so let's do that as well. And let's generate a game report. See, I'm just breezing through it. Okay, Guitar Flash is not bad, not good, and I think that's fair, you know. It's a new team working on a game, none of them are really in tune yet, so it's not a good game, essentially. So I will explain the percentages feature soon. Thanks for the question. So let's sit back. So I think it's still okay. Game history, I mean, this makes a loss quite a bit, but the last one made 2.2 million. Again, here you can flick the screen, essentially. Much easier. So now we introduce publishing contracts. So I will get to that in a second. So of course, it's unrealistic, right? In a garage, you somehow made it yourself and you sell it yourself, which isn't realistic because in the 80s you would have no way of selling a game yourself. So you would have to have a, I mean, share one model, yes, but you would have to, you know, do kind of production yourself and whatnot. And we found that a bit too complicated to start. So, but at the start, you're fine to publish small games by yourself, but for bigger games, you need really fans. And the idea is that the more fans you have, the more you would then sell. And the fewer fans, the more penalty you get for the sales, even if your game is good. So what you want to do is use publishing deals to have a publisher publish the game for you and build up your fan base, essentially. Yeah, so the problem with publishers is that they suggest really terrible things. It isn't too bad. A sports simulation is pretty good. Vampire RPG is also good. Vampire Simulation, not so much. Yeah, I mean, these are not too bad, actually. I might go, actually, for a sports simulation, but min score of 7 is very difficult. Let's do it anyway, just for fun. So, sports simulation, accept. Which is a medium game. What do we do for a sports simulation game? One of my favorite sports simulation games is actually Super Tennis on the Super Nintendo. I don't know, it's just really a fun game to play. Otherwise, sports simulation, I mean, you know, basketball games are always cool and fun. All the, of course, football and soccer ones. But let's pick something kind of more unusual. Chess. Summer Olympics and summer games is really good, actually. Boxing in a box. Okay, what else do we have? Where did the unobtainium achievement come from? Oh, no, what did I do? I clicked out of it. Let's see. I have to go back. Is that a bug, actually? I think that's a bug. I just nuked my little thing. Huh. See, this is great. After 5 years of not playing, I discover a bug. So you can, of course... I can't do my thing anymore. Well, let's do this then. Wild West 6 is better anyway for us. Let's do that. Sorry, I will come back to the unobtainium question. Let's do Wild West and an adventure RPG. I don't actually know that many Wild West games. Apart from, obviously, the new ones, right? Gameling, why not? Let's do an action game, actually. Shootout or something. Australia. That would be Wild East, I think. Almost Wild West. Not quite as wild, sorta West Side. See, one of the things we changed as well for the Steam release is to allow you to have quite ridiculously long names, because we realized the more we allow you kind of do really silly things, the better. So anyway, I'll just use this as my name. And now these folks go. Alright, so not everything changed, right? No longer is it that easy to just set a few stages and whatnot, and you have to deal with staff. So if I try to do OK, I'll get this blinking thing here. So essentially I need to decide who is in charge of what. First of all, Wild West should be action, lots of gameplay, bit of engine, bit of story quest as well, I think. So I will put myself as on gameplay, and then design heavy on story quests and the tech heavy on engine, for example. And show if I can show the percentages here, but I don't think I can. No, I can't yet. I'll show the percentages in a minute, but anyway, so this, you can see how much people work here, essentially. Did I say this? Yeah. Tasmanian Wildside, yes, that would have been good as well. Okay, now artificial intelligence, that's our tech guy, of course. We'll have this and that. And dialogues, snappy dialogues, we need some of that, I think. Level design a bit more than I mean, the idea with the dev stage is really there isn't a completely right thing, and that's why I personally don't think you need to play with a wiki. You can just, you know, make your own kind of fun with it. But I mean, we definitely learned a lot about that approach as well. Okay, so graphics, world design. I think world design should be quite important. Graphics and sound, they're all important. That's the difficult. Sound is more technical, I would say. And that. So here we get in the first difficulty where we overwork someone. Of course, the founder is overworked in this case. So I will just take this, try to balance it, but how could we balance that better? I could not do anything in the last section, for example. But that won't work. This is as good as we get, I think. Can we develop Tavern Keeper? Yes, we'll try to do that. So to answer the question about the Unobtainium achievement, that the name was inspired by Avatar, because, you know, they have this mineral that they mine on Pandora or whatever it's called Unobtainium, and I thought that was just so silly that that I wanted to use it as our hardest achievement, Unobtainium. Okay, boss, I've discovered some really dedicated fans of Cyberpunk 1985 have created a fan game using a lot of the material from our game. They don't make any money with it and just seem to do it for fellow fans. Our legal advisor strongly suggests that we shouldn't allow this to go on. What do you want to do? So that actually goes into a comment from before, right? What I think of mods and whatnot. And I mean, to be honest, like, we made these decisions a bit naively. Like, there are, I guess, valid reasons why big companies would have to stop them and whatnot, but this is sort of a fantasy world. So in this case, we'll say, well, you know, why not? Let them be. And yeah. We kind of had similar things at the beginning, actually. Like, when we were released, someone kind of looked into the... Ooh, make some points more. Yes, this is going well. Just the bugs. Get rid of the bugs. Yes, okay, let's finish that. I'll continue the story in a second. New record. This looks good. This looks good. We still have 600,000, so chances are we're not going bankrupt. Okay, let's sit back and see what... not quite as... I mistyped it. Oh well. Wild, it should say, not weld. Oh well, anyway. Could have been better. Okay, yeah, this is I thought it would be a bit better than that, but it's still quite good. So it's a 5-ish. It should at least not make a loss, or not a big one. Although the problem is, it was a publisher deal, so we'll probably get a penalty, which of course is the downside. So let's have a listen. We have 2,500 fans. We gain fans, which is a great sign. This is what we want. And we spend a whole lot of money, so let's see. Yeah, Techno says, if only real life had a bug counter like that. I feel you. I think Software Inc. does a really interesting mechanic there where you don't know your bugs until you do testing, and then you figure out how many bugs you have, and it's frankly horrific because you have like 100 bugs suddenly. And it's very clever because in real life, of course, that's how it is, right? Some bugs are obvious, but a lot of them you don't know until you test. Yes. So Ubersoft is not happy. Sorry, Ubersoft. We will have a penalty, which is actually quite a lot, 150,000. But we're still doing okay. Let's train our folks a little. So this guy's a tech guy. So all of these books are inspired by real books. So Code Complete is the real one of that. Don't Repeat Yourself. I'm not sure actually. That's what it is, I think. And Don't Make Me Think is a really good book about website design. Anyway, so this one is a tech-heavy guy, so let's get him trained on Code Incomplete. And I'll train myself here as well with game design for pirates. Why not? Don't Repeat Yourself as a player in the actual acronym DRY, isn't it? Yes, so DRY is a very common concept for coding, and that is important, but I'm not entirely sure. I think there is a book that was inspired by too. Okay, so this I will do Game Dev Gems, which I think exists as well, Gems of Game Development or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I can talk about... So someone asked about the idea we had to release the game as a cracked version. And I mean, arguably this was the biggest thing that happened to the game, and we were utterly unprepared for it. So I'll talk about that in a bit. Let's just send this guy on vacation. And this guy as well. And as a little in-joke, you as the founder, you don't get vacation. So I just have to sit here and maybe research something. So I will do a hunting. Nah, hunting. I don't want to do hunting. UFO. Why not? UFO. Have you played Hollywood Mogul 3 by Kerry DeVuno? I haven't actually. I played a bunch. I played Empire TV Tycoon, I think it was called, which was kind of a Mad Tower version. And that's, if you like that kind of game, it's really cool. It's quite good on Steam as well. Okay, so they're back now. All right, research. I want to invest a bit more in our I don't have the research, which is the problem, but I want to invest some more in our engine. Casual games. I don't want to make casual games. Although, funnily enough, Game Dev Tycoon is a casual game, sort of. So I guess I do want to make casual games. Yeah, no, I will train this guy a bit more. What did I do? Make me think I will do that. Yeah, thanks for writing down the story of the pirate torrent thing. Then that gives everyone a background. Yeah, all right. So these publishing deals, they kind of refresh every once in a while, but usually they're not that great. So, but they're kind of necessary to get the fans up. I think it's about 100,000 you want to aim for before you release your own medium games yourself. So yeah, let's see. Comedy, any genre for the Wiener. See, I don't think I can get to a 7 yet. Like maybe a 5 is a bit better. Hunting adventure is a terrible idea. I mean, maybe a hunting action adventure, but a hunting adventure itself, I don't think so. This is easy, but only gives me 7% royalty. But anyway, let's do that. Let's do that. Blue Bit Games. Let's do a... what did I research? UFO, right? UFO strategy. So there is our XCOM. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? I want my engine, of course. We just researched a whole bunch and didn't create a new engine. So here we go. Create a new engine, calling it Dark Matter. What's more than Dark Matter? There's nothing, right? Okay, whoever had the suggestion Dark Matter, please give me a new one. Light matter. It doesn't matter, maybe. Dark energy. What more? What more? I go with matters. Maybe. Dark mattering matter is actually really mattering matter. All right, we're creating a mattering matter custom game engine. All right, and we have about 12 minutes left, and then we'll jump into the tag mod and play that. Okay, so let's see if our publishing deal is still there, because it might actually be gone by now. And it is. Oh no, it isn't. Here it is. Surgical surgery in a game is not bad as well. 8% royalties. 7%. Yeah. Okay. So, what did we say? UFO strategy. Okay, so who has a name for an UFO strategy game? I mean, again, you know, what do we have? I mean, XCOM, I guess, is the traditional one. I don't know if it was the first one. I think originally it was called UFO Enemy Unknown or something. But what could we do? E.T. %100% missed. That's a good one. Yes, okay, 100% missed. I love XCOM, but geez, it is so frustrating when you have a hit chance of 98%. Although, I mean, the game design is very clever because they actually give you more percentage than they show you. So, gotta hand it to them. All right, so we have a strategy game, story quest, probably not that important. Let's do this and see how we go. Area 52. Love these names. Okay, level editor, of course we want that. So what do we have? We have, I will keep him on level design. He's better on design anyway. More rounded. See, the thing with this is great if you haven't played the game, but you miss a lot. Like, you miss all the new consoles coming out, so which is a bit of a shame. I kind of prefer playing it with largely pop-ups. Anyway, we're down to 307, so this is quite scary. Okay, world design, sound, graphics, like that, but we have to rejig a bit. So you can drag this as well, so you can change them over, for example, by doing that, if you didn't know. So we can try to balance it and just up that a little, and now we're 100, 100, 100. That seems good to me. The graphics says it's not that important for a strategy game. Yeah, I guess that's right, but if I, yeah. See, this is the thing, like, I think what makes you think is that you have all these things that you have to balance. I should actually do mono sound. So let's see how we go with that. I mean, we only need a 4 to get the publishing contract ready and going. All the bugs. By the way, this bubble sounds took us ages to do. I think Daniel spent like a week trying to design them. And I'm still not sick of them, so yeah. I mean, he actually, a friend of his did it, Yogi. He made the sound effects. Okay, finish. Yeah, that looks better. 100% missed. Good. Release! So a lot of mistakes what people make is that they hire way too many people and then they go bankrupt, because every time someone gains a level, actually they get automatically a raise, quite hefty one. So now both of them cost me 28,000 a month, and I have a whole bunch of things to research, which I will get straight away. I will change into 3D graphics, why not? And let's see, get a new thing. Oh no, let's watch first how the game is reviewed. 100% missed. Any guesses? I want guesses. How good will it be? Get a shout out if you have a guess. We need, I think, more than a 4. Oh, I don't see the chat for some reason. Okay, lots of things coming up. 3, 5, 5. I hope more than 3 and 5. Jeez. Okay, let's see. 666. Oh, yeah, good. Did anyone go for 8? This is like lottery. Someone has 8, 9, 8, 9. I don't think anyone guessed that. 8, 9, 8, and maybe 8 as well, I would say. Ah, 7! All games. Jeez. Okay, so 87879 was the closest, I think. Yeah, you almost won the lottery there. Cool. Okay, I think my chat is back as well, so I should see it again. So, okay, so the Bluebit game says, the game meets the required ratings. We're looking forward to future business. Thank you, Bluebit. Of course, the real name is Blue Byte, I think, is a German publisher. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe someone looks it up, what they actually do. But they're all inspired by real companies. Okay, and wow, 1 million units. So that should be... Really? They're Austrian? Oh, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I didn't know. They made The Settlers. Wow, yeah, that was amazing. That was such a great game. Hi boss, I have a knack for security and I think we could really do with some security upgrades in our office. I've done some research and I think with an investment of 50,000 we would be a lot safer than we are now. What do you say? I love this. Like, imagine that in real life, right? Someone comes up to you and says, hey, give me 50,000, I can increase security. But here it actually doesn't make sense. So if you don't do that, then there is a slight chance that a hacker will infiltrate you and then you lose money and whatnot. So I'll say I will invest that and see. Or let's play the risk, see. So I think this guy is, he suggested it, so he drops a little bit in satisfaction. And yeah, Joe would own Blue Byte, that could be. So Joe would, I think, made the original Anno, or at least they published it. Anno is actually, was made in Austria, I think. Okay, cool. So let's see where we are at, huh? Well, we have to close up soon anyway and set up the interview. So yeah, let's review where we're at. Greenheart Games in year 6. What was our most successful one? I think this one, right? 1.1 million versus, yeah, it's ridiculously different. But I mean, here you can see, oh no, wow, this is the way better. Cyberpunk, our first one. Because this was 9.75. Yeah, you see the huge difference it makes. Because even this is medium. I mean, we use a publisher as well, so it's difficult to tell. But, you know, this is 7.5. It only made 237,000, but this is 9, almost 10, and made 2 million. All right, have a good night, sleep. Thanks for hanging around. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So should we try one more just to see if we can get a really, really bad game? Let's try to make a bad game, okay? Let's try to make... let's get a new research topic. Just for a really bad game. Hunting, surgery. Why not surgery? See what else we get. So every time you start a research, you get another revealed. So you can make a hacking game. To me, like, I love all these icons, but this one, I don't know, it's so cliche. It's like this, you know, this guy holding a laptop up like that and with his little hood up. But I think it's so cliche, that's actually fun. So anyway, let's do hacking. All right. Let's drive this company into the ground. So first, let's hire someone new so that we have a new person on the team as well. And I'll see if I can go bankrupt in the next 2 minutes. It'll be fun. Who is more expensive? The most expensive guy, Feliz Valdez. Oh, diversity achievement. This was, I think, in the game all the time, so that's not a new thing. We also made sure that we have character models that are, you know, respective of all the cultures in the world, essentially, because I think it's so easy to develop a game that just suits your own culture and where are you from, rather than trying to get more of that in. Anyway, so Stephen Fuller, I think this is a famous person, Sean Roy as well. But who is more expensive? This one, okay. All right, this is perfect. Everyone is completely distracted. These haven't even gotten a research, like a welcome yet, and we'll make a medium game. A medium hacking game that is a RPG and for the gameling. And using our latest engine. And you guys think of a name, hacking RPG. I will make the game in the meantime. And okay, hacking, probably gameplay is important, and engine, so let's focus entirely on, no, hacking is probably story quest as well. Let's focus entirely on engine, nothing else, and let's just not bother of any of this. Who needs this? No one. Okay, I try to go bankrupt, but I already got 200,000 for the bank, so, or did I? Oh no, I can go down to watching the dogs. I'm watching the dogs. Hacking RPG. I guess it's not that unrealistic. Okay, hi, this is Gary White from Gamers. I got word that Greenheart Games is working on a new game. Would you be willing to share some information about it? Yes, so this is something we added. Many of our readers are curious about what decisions go into making a video game and how companies prioritize development areas. Excuse me. So, for a hacking RPG, what is more important, sound or story quests? And this is essentially just using the knowledge you already use in dev stages to try to get you to decide early on, essentially. So for hacking RPG, I mean, I guess an RPG game needs to have the story quests, so let's go for that. But we want to go bankrupt, so let's say sound is more important. Thank you. What? 1 minute left. Okay, I'm just finishing this one game and see if we can run it. Actually, who is overworked? This guy will be in charge of everything. And dialogues, no, just AI. So I wonder what happens. Like, no one is generated. Okay. I get 474,000. No. Well, what do you say? Should I accept it and still try to go bankrupt? I guess so, right? Bank offer. Yeah, let's just agree and see how the game actually gets. Like, we only have 200 left. All right. No. You person, you work on everything. This is a terrible. Yeah, only 200,000. Yeah, you wish, right? Yeah, if you're on a team, it's kind of weird. I think that's like when I made Game Dev Tycoon, I was always so impressed by, you know, single developers making games and small teams, and I'm still very much. But since we worked on Tavern Keeper, I kind of gained a whole lot of more respect for people who make it in a big team, because it can be bloody difficult, to be honest. Okay. So this 3 and 12, this is terrible. This is worse than our first game we made, I think. Release. Okay, anyone want to guess what reviews we get for that? I don't think we have to guess, right? See if we can get 11111. Oh, I didn't name it. Oh, so sorry. Didn't even name it. One of the worst. NA not worth a statement. Oh, we should have an achievement for that, right? 1111. Just terrible. All overall. Okay. Folks, I think we will set up tag mod and we'll be back in just one moment. Thank you all for hanging around. This will only take like a few minutes, so stay on if you can. And yeah, we'll be back soon. All right, and we are back. We are back with a completely different looking game. So this is Tag Mod for Game Dev Tycoon. And yeah, we'll start a new company and have a look what all changed. This is on the Steam Workshop, so you can activate it right now and then it's all good. Yeah, so new game, right? And I will just start a new company and do one game, and then I have the pleasure to get the creator actually on and do an interview. So hang in there and you will see it. And also, I think we should update our little stream thing by having this. Stream plan updated. Yes. Awesome. Okay, this is done. Cool. So, new game. Oh wow, look at this, hey? Very different. So, welcome to Game Dev Tycoon. This is all the same text, of course. So let's press OK, and yeah, incredible, huh? That's a lot different. Yes, beautiful. Simply, that's right. It's very, very different. So this is made by Bellwood Studios. So we'll actually add this here as the name. And then, well, I will just still playing by myself, so I'll use this. And no, don't unlock. And oh, look how clean this looks. So yeah, wow. Let me actually get the creator on right now, actually before I make a new game, and talk a little bit about this. So let me welcome Will from Bellwood Studios. Let's see if that works. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Guys, let me. Did I spell it wrong? No, did I? Anyway, let's see. Let me know if you can hear Will, and if I did spell it wrong, I will of course start a new one, because this is no good, right? So it's Bellwood, right? Is this correct?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. And did spell it wrong. Oh, and you don't. Did you not? Did you guys not add your name as an achievement in the game?
We can do it.
You know what? Let me do it for you. Like, you made a game for my game, let me make a mod for your game. Just one moment then. All right, this should be no problem. In the meantime, maybe introduce yourself and yeah, tell us a bit about why you made Tag Mod.
All right, so I am Will. I'm one of the Valcor in the forums, and
I think you can't actually see
one of the co-founders of Bellwood Studios. So
just one second. Can you actually guys see Will? I think not, right? Let me just try to figure that out. We cannot see him. Yeah, we can't see him. So what's happening here? Okay, just one second. I think we have an here.
Yes, I am a ghost. Well, look at that.
Now we do, yeah, great, okay. Excellent, thank you. I think there's some feedback that you're just a little quiet, so if you can, I guess just speak up a little and it should be fine, but yeah. Yeah, so what made you make this Tag Mod?
Back in 2014, I was kind of not very busy with anything, and I've just bought Game Dev Tycoon recently, and as an exercise of doing something, I wanted to see if I can like create the better UI experience for something that already existed, because it's a lot easier to do something on something that already exists.
Right.
So because I liked the game a lot, and I was like, oh, this is neat. This is like a really nice small game that you can play, and then I could at least wrap my head around redesigning something like this, and maybe even get it programmed at some point, which, as we all know, took a long time in the end.
Yeah. Let me actually restart the application briefly to get this toolbar up here. So if you don't know, in Game Dev Tycoon, you can just open the folder where it's located and then essentially edit the package JSON and activate this toolbar, which gives you then a little programmer access. And let me actually capture a video source so that you can see what I'm doing here. Editor, new source. So 1 second, please. Okay, can you guys see this? So anyway, so here we are, we have access, and what I should do now is we have this thing called real company names in the game, which should have all the names in here. Actually, it doesn't compile for some reason. So what I will do is I'll just push yours, Bellwood Studios. So if you do that in your mod, then you should be able to actually have the achievement show up, the fan achievement. So let's try that. Get that editor gone again. Don't need it. And yeah. I hope this works. Anyway. Yes, pick an inspired company name. So now your company name triggers that as well. So I'll give you the code later on. But anyway, so yeah, when did you actually come up with the idea? That's a while ago, isn't it?
Yeah, it was 2014. That's so long ago.
And we have our first question. Does TAG stand for anything? Why that name?
Yeah, the company that I had before Bellwood Studios was called Throwaway Games, and TAG is the sort of like first letters of that, so I called it TAG Mod.
Right. Yeah. Throwaway Games, yeah. So I guess you threw away that company, or?
Yeah.
Well, I really like Bellwood Studios as well, so that's nice. Oh, look at this! Wow.
Yeah, everybody does.
This looks very different. Where do you get these images from? Like, you all made them yourself, or what's the story here?
The topic images?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are sourced them from the internet.
Right.
Based on what would be sort of suitable for the design and what would better make it look like the topic you're making. As you can see,
yeah.
Game Dev is there, and it's our mod skin on it.
This is very nice, yeah. This is kind of the inception that we have in the company creation screen, right? Where it's yeah, it shows itself. Awesome. Yes. Yeah, so this is so different. Like, all the colors are different. We have a status bar here. Let's click on info and stats. So this would then show us our money and whatnot, I guess. Yeah. So are you a game developer yourself? Sevco asks.
Yes, we are. I am basically mostly in the graphical side, so I design UIs and game graphics, and my colleague does the programming for it.
Yeah, I think you started like posting screenshots of a mock-up really early on our forum, right? And it was really well received. So who is?
That was...
Yeah, who is involved in the TagMod team? Is another question.
Just me and my colleague. Like you've also talked to Sam. He's the second co-founder of Bellwood Studios. So he did all the programming. Yeah,
he had the pleasure to deal with our JavaScript code. I'm very impressed that he managed to implement this. Like, just look at this. It's so different. I see you've added the percentage info as often requested, and just the colors are all different, right? So yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
What's the inspiration of the? Is it like a design language you were inspired by? It looks kind of modern web, right? Like. Super clean.
Yeah, but in 2014, I was doing a lot of web design, and since this was an HTML5 based game, a lot of my ideas were based on what the current trends were of color choice, and a lot of color theory goes into something as well, as like where technology is usually like a blue color, and the design is usually represented by a very sort of like accented color, like we have purple.
Right.
It's just sort of like a violet or so. And I mean, it's so funny that when I started making this, gradients were not a thing. Everybody was doing flat colors, and now everybody's doing gradients in their apps.
So you were ahead of your time. You waited long enough.
Yeah, it's actually kind of like come full circle in the sense of it was so far ahead of its time. Now it's exactly where it should be.
You even added little icons here. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's,
and a check mark. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the main things is that when I make UIs is like I want to add a visual cue to something, that if there's a title that says something graphics or something, I put like a graphics card in it, and
oh, that's a graphic card. Oh, cool. Yeah, it is too.
It helps the eye memorize better things.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes you get tired of reading text, but you remember a shape.
Yeah. I gotta say, I love the colors of the bubbles. They're just clean, and so different from the one we have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I was kind of surprised by how well the bubbles look, like in the background of the actual game artwork. So that kind of came out really better than I expected myself, even.
And let's have a look at this. So this is also completely reskinned. Someone says, okay, I'm re-downloading GDT with the mod as you speak. You should. It's definitely a completely fresh experience. And yeah, let's release. Let's have a look at your review screen, shall we? Okay. Oh, this is very different as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very clean. Oh, we're doing much better. Look at that. Game Dev Tycoon, the first one. Is that going to be implemented in the mobile version of GDT? Well, unfortunately, I don't think so. We don't have mod support, and yeah, we have an actually very, very interesting mobile UI. I don't know if you've tried it, but it's very tuned to touch screens. But this is, I mean, I'm glad to see this because, you know, a lot of people, when we released the mobile version, they said, well, the PC UI isn't really as nice. I want the mobile UI. But really, you made a thing that is perfect for PC. It's not for mobiles. It's just taking the PC market and making it really good for that. See you. Thank you for hanging around. Just saying goodbye to people. All right. So let's see. So we have infos and we spend lots of stuff. So this is cool. This is also something that wasn't in the normal game, right? Yeah.
My stream of you is kind of lagging behind, so I'm like waiting to see what you're seeing.
Right, yeah. It's a couple of seconds, I think, yeah. So we have released, so I will pause the game a little so you can catch up. But now we have released the game, we had a review screen, and now we have a whole new game card here, which shows you all the details. So I think this is actually like something we did roughly at the same time, which is weird. So the mobile version also has that concept of having the generate report on the actual sales card so that you don't have to go into a separate menu. But I think it came at the same time. I definitely saw as soon afterwards, or at the same time that you did that as well. And it's such a clever idea, I have to say. I didn't think of it, so you know, the mobile team did.
It was mostly born out of the fact that when I play the game, I always forget to do the game reports in the early stages.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, how do I make this like important thing that generates research for me in a way that I don't forget it? And I was like, game card, that's where I put it. And we also have it when the game is finished selling. We also have it in the game history. So when you go to the game history, we have an extra panel where you can see the actual stage percentages that you used, any insight you generate will be visible there.
Let's have a look.
And all the features as well.
Wow, yeah. That is hugely different. So ours was just listing the platform and whatnot and some basic information, but you have like what engine, what features, even the development stages of what exactly you have. Time has elapsed to generate a report. That is a cool statement. Time has elapsed to generate a report. Okay, I think we'll wait until the report is done, and then we should see that as well. All right, cool. Yeah. And you changed the, I like that you changed the ratings. So it's GDT ratings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. What was the most difficult part about creating this mod?
Well, I can speak from the design part, is making something that is consistently like tied together and fits the theme. So a lot of it is like, because we have the base of what you guys did with the UI, so we knew I knew what kind of information needed to go in there, and
Yeah.
I had an idea in my head of like, what kind of information do I miss doing this? So I had to come up with a way of keeping a consistent design and feel, so that nothing would feel out of place, that you would have, oh, we have this fancy new shiny UI, but sometimes you can go overboard with the fanciness, and so it starts to like decouple from the actual look and feel of the game. So in design perspective, that was one of the challenges, to like still keep it feeling like it's Game Dev Tycoon, even though it's doing a UI rehaul, but it should feel like the same game.
What's the last thing that fell into place? Like I'm really impressed by this topic picker that I'm looking on right now. The screen is black for people. Is that a general? Are we still on? Just 1 second. Yeah, you can. I think you can continue talking now. I think it's just a Twitch thing.
So yes, the topic picker actually came around to be in this final form once you guys launched your update of 1.6 with the images. And one thing that we added was the topic counter. So we used those blue rings with the numbers in them. They count the times you use the topic. And literally, it's like we wanted to create a sense of like, when you're picking the topic kind of resembles maybe like box art or the feeling of the game that you're making. So it's not just like a it's not just like plain text.
Yeah. It's so fascinating to me because obviously the mobile team went in a different direction. So it's really cool to see this entirely different idea. And I would say both look great, but this is like bombastic. This is, it's like space. You have this colorful thing. It's like really big kind of thing. It makes sense that you made it bigger as well. And I just noticed, I don't know if you can see that on stream, but there's this little animations where there's like little white bar coming down. That is just so cool.
Yeah, so we added in that to represent like an old school TV, like because they had like sort of the image wasn't as great back in the days in the 90s, so you would sometimes get image jittering. So we added that in.
It's just amazing that you could do all of that without us, adding features. Like, hats off to your developer there. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make another game, a space. Oh, and I can see it here as well, which is great. I can see that I haven't done an action game. Last used genre. Wow, that tells me.
That's one of the features I wanted to have in there because I always seem to like forget what did I do last.
Defco says, as a fan of GDT, I just want to say the tag mod looks very nice and always appreciate good mods made by fans. Thank you for that, Will. I say the same thing. Thank you very much for spending your time on this. This is incredible. All right, let's do a space action game, and this is different. So, okay, we see the market share and the order as well. And the genre match unknown. This is, you made everything from scratch essentially. Wow. Let's do that. And space. Oh, I didn't pick a genre. Space action game. So we'll do the same thing. Any ideas for space action game names? Please throw them my way. And so this is using a similar sidebar. So I assume you added that after we added it, or did you work on that separately?
Which sidebar? It's like I have to wait for this.
The message sidebar. I mean.
Now the stream collapsed on my computer. I'll see if I can get my other computer.
Okay, no worries. Sorry about that. Okay, let me decide on some things here first. This should be fine. Spaction. Nice name idea, yes. Let's open one of these things. It's just so clean. Subtle. I like it.
Have to watch this ad.
So my question was the message side notifications on the left that stack. Did you add that after we added it, or did you implement it?
That was in the actual 2014 idea. That was like something I wanted immediately. Yeah. And I remember you guys added in the mobile version, and I was like, oh yeah, see.
So you weren't the only one pushing for that. We resisted so long. It's a bit ridiculous, really. Okay, graphic and sound. Like the sliders, it just feel. I mean, it still feels like Game Dev Tycoon. It's not like you're missing it, but it's so different. Like this is below. It's very, very clean. I think actually it's much easier for streamers, and I should move myself a little bit just because I'm on the wrong thing here. So let me do that. But anyway, I will shrink myself down. Wait a second. Okay. Always wanted to do that. Anyway. Okay, so do we have names yet? Metroidish. Tag mod is to GDT as Brutal Doom is for Doom 1. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, Brutal Doom is pretty awesome, though.
Tag mod is pretty awesome, too. And I think that you actually... I mean, there are lots of mods that work with tag mod, right? It's not like you made it incompatible.
Yeah, it is designed to not interfere. That's why there's a... original tag mod had a lot of features planned into it, but we sort of cut a big chunk of those because it would be invading your code, and we didn't want to inject too much into it. So it would we would pretty much disrupt anything you guys were doing and what other modders would do. So we just wanted to have it in a way that it interferes as little as possible, although it's not like guaranteed that every mod works, because I think there's a compact topic mod that that sort of has a bug where it sort of deletes the name of the topic. Where if you have it installed and you're playing with tag mod, it sometimes can cut off the names of the actual topics.
This just sounds like a hard mode. That sounds actually quite exciting. I should try that. Then I will have to guess what all of that is. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, it's roulette mode.
Dungeon history. Oh man, I just want to research new topics so I can see these beautiful images here. Let's actually do that. Rhythm. This is like massively cool. Yeah. Also, Chad, if you're still around, can you post some links to both Bellwood Studios' website and the mod itself? Because I think, yeah, definitely follow these guys. You're also game developers. I mean, you're not just making mods, right? You made a game as well that's on Steam, and one that is quite exciting that is in process.
Yeah, we have one game on Steam. It's an action platformer.
Well, feel free to throw it in the chat. But I was snooping around your Discord. Because, you know, lurking, and I saw some really cool things. I don't know if you're ready to talk about that yet, so tell me off if not, but it's looked very exciting.
Yeah, so if you're referring to Project Mayor, then that is something we are currently working on. It is a city ruling game. It's not like a general like SimCity game, but it's
Okay.
more of, if you can imagine playing SimCity, Democracy 3, and Crusader Kings all in one.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's you basically, we have planned this to have as citizens be simulated in a generated 2D environment, and the meat of the game comes from how you expand your city and how you get new and different policies you can implement to your city. And then you have your mayor character, who will have stats and traits that enable you to enact different kinds of policies, and
Right.
they will have different effects on your citizens. So you can have like a drunken sex addict genius mayor be the mayor of your city, and that has sort of like debuffs and buffs to what kind of policies and what kind of city you will arrive at, and what
Yeah.
kind of problems you have to deal with.
So now I can ask, because as a game developer, I can ask this question now in all the glory. When is the release date?
Oh man, we don't know yet. We need to
I didn't name my game. Oh yeah.
we need to come up with a prototype first,
Hmm.
and we have like mock-ups of what the game art looks like on our Discord. So if anybody's in the chat and it's not on our Discord, they can go there and see what it looks like. So we're pretty open about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, feel free to post a link to your Discord. I'm not sure if we have it, but I mean, that sounds amazing. I would love to play that. Also, I have no expectations of it releasing soon. Don't worry, because I know how difficult it is to make a game like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we have. So we made one game dev, one hacking, one space. Did you add any topics as well, or did you just stick with vanilla kind of game dev tycoon?
We stuck with your topics for this one, if because there are several, I think, topic expansion sets, and we cannot predict what people are using the most right now. So we can go on Steam and look up what the most popular one is and add those topics in. But again, for version 1, we wanted to keep it to a development time that we could achieve. So we wanted to get the product out to people as soon as possible, because it's been since some people have been waiting since like 2014. So we kind of it actually took us like only 2 months to get the mod ready.
Wow.
But the main problem was that even that 2 months is we decided to use our actual studio time to develop this, instead of doing it like afterward or something. So we were let's get this out. The people have been waiting, and I convinced my colleague that this is a good idea to have this thing out, and he agreed.
So it was more than a passion project then, like it essentially became like a...
Yeah, because we like, I didn't want it, because at the point of time when Bellwood Studios was formed, we were thinking, so what would be our first project that we can show people? And I think, well, I have this mod that I've been wanting to complete for the past 4 years, and so we were like, why don't we spend some time actually finishing it? And we decided that, okay, we're gonna actually use our like paid income time to dedicate to this project. And
well, that's amazing. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone do that. So yeah, that's incredible story. I mean, I guess it feels good to finish something, right? Like yeah, is that normal for Canada? You're from Canada, right?
No. Nobody's gonna spend, like, if we were to put a number of hours of our like company rate out, this is not normal. People will not take this kind of hit.
Yeah. So we get the same question over again. We'll ask that soon. But yeah, I mean, I find this really interesting. So what is what's your reason to doing that? Because that's not a normal decision, you know.
Because from our experience, it's very hard to start building a fan base if you're an unknown, like 3 month. Like the company I had before existed for at least 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we ended up constantly making software, right? So we were called throwaway games, and we were supposed to make video games, but every project we started got like hindered by the fact that we're first of all, we're not rich people, so we had to constantly keep making money, and the only way that we could make money is that we had to have client work. So, and it became such a like an engulfing part of our life that we sort of like weren't mentally and physically able to dedicate our time to games anymore, because we had to just like survive.
All right.
And so we sort of arrived at a point where one of our co-founders like left, and because we the games that we wanted to make were more into like the simulation, strategy, RTS, and management type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And he was more interested in RPGs.
Right. Well, both these genres incredibly difficult and long to do, right? RPGs.
Yes.
Or not? Yeah.
And so we sort of thought about it and says, well, let's reform ourselves, and we formed Bellwood Studios and thought, well, we're going to be in the same situation, and I don't want to be there for like the next 5 years that nobody knows who we are.
Right.
So I thought, well, I like game dev tycoon, and I pretty much think that since we also want to make simulation games and RTSs, why don't we just do a fan project and show that we're not a really bunch of people that want your money, that we actually care about the genre that we're in. And that's where we decided that, okay, even if this is costing us money, it's a good idea, because
right, yeah.
We got in touch with you, and we have a really nice Discord followership now because of this project.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that, because we kind of just, went off the spotlight and focused on Tavern Keeper. And honestly, we're not that great in community building. So thank you all for watching. And, it's always great to hear from people who play the game or whatnot. But it would be really cool if you can build out a community of that as well, because I think I would love to see these types of games. My advice would be to start small, because as you know, it takes ages to actually get it done and whatnot. But I mean, the skill you've shown in this mod is just incredible, game UI wise and whatnot. Let's have a look at this now. We have full kind of stats in it as well, right? Awesome. I think you can't see it yet, but you can see now that I'm driving Bellwood Studios to the ground, essentially. Although I just... Okay, I can see the money down here. I see. So do you shorten the names as well, or is it you just see the exact details? Like you see 301,818, because in the original game, I think when you would see 300K probably, like shortened. Was it a decision that you changed that?
Actually, the graphics were pretty much for the info stats. We sort of put in like a comma statement that it's at least some sort of precision, although it's not as complex of a game. Let's say Capitalism 2, which is very sort of money based, and everything is to the last dot and the cent.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just something that when you see it, it sort of gives more meaning to the monetary value that you're spending, is to see more of it.
It just seems overall really rounded. Someone said on the stream, so your game will be good because you also put some heart in it. Can't wait for it will. Yeah, I mean, I think after all, if you spend that many years doing something, you kind of need to have a passion for it.
Yeah, it's like I started playing simulation games back in the 90s, like 90, what was it? 95. My dad bought me Capitalism Plus. That was the very not the very first simulator. The first the first game I ever played was on PC was Sim City.
Oh, SimCity.
Uh,
Awesome, yeah.
yeah, the very first one with the. But it was such a good experience, and I remember my dad bought me a console after the fall of the Soviet Union, and we got like all the Western stuff because I used to live in Eastern Europe. I was born there.
All right.
And so when all the Western stuff came, and my dad got me a Sega Mega Drive, and I played like what was available, like Sonic, and most of it was like platforming. But as soon as we got a PC, and I sort of snuck into my dad's office, and I wasn't allowed there, so I put it on, and I explored DOS, and I saw this thing SimCity.exe, and I sort of kind of at that point knew some English.
Right.
So I clicked on it, and this game opened up, and I was so surprised, like, oh my God, this looks awesome, and I can build a city. I love cities.
I still remember I was very disappointed when AutoExec.bat wasn't a car management game, you know? It was like very disappointing. The old DOS days.
Yeah, I remember.
But this is I'm just looking at the contract screen, so that's completely different as well. Is there any screen in the game that just stayed the same? Like I don't know, the conventions, for example, or the end screen or whatever.
The conventions currently are the same. I have a plan for if you get to the convention, when you get the convention offer, that screen is different. I have designs for different like full screen conventions, but in V1 we decided not to implement them in right away because the last beta patch that we did was working really stable, so we didn't want to implement something that will break the game as we're doing the stream.
So I guess people would be interested in, like, is there more planned for the mod?
Basically, the thing is that we want to sort of maintain the mod, and if we feel like we have the time to add more to it, then we probably could. But it won't be as fast as we did the 2 months, because it will be something that we put in the background, and it's like, do we have problems? Do we have bugs? We fix the bugs. And if somebody has some sort of issue with how the mod works, then we can solve those problems. But adding any sort of like new stuff and features will be solely based on how much traction the mod gets. So if at some point this mod has like 100,000 subscribers, we'll definitely try to maybe like improve it in some ways, and add in the stuff that we had planned some time ago. But that's also based on pretty much based on like how much time we have.
You're doing I think you're the most top rated or most subscribed mods in the recent history, right? I mean, it would be tough, I think, to beat the cheat mod, which probably tells you more about the game than your work. But yeah, you're doing really well on the feedback front.
Yeah, that's one of the good things. Is that's like one of the good things that has paid off is the feedback. Is when we were running throwaway games, we often had trouble getting good feedback, and because the Discord sort of like erupted, and when we put the beta out, the Discord people on Discord helped us out a lot, so we could hone in on all the issues and the problems, the bugs that we couldn't sometimes replicate even, and that in itself has lots of massive value, because everybody's been talking about this. And it's like in a meme sense right now, is the Diablo Immortal stuff.
Right.
but it's we don't want to be in a situation where we don't listen to the people we are actually sort of
So is your plan
trying to build.
to develop Project Mayor, I think it's called, in public?
Yeah.
Or what's the plan?
The plan is like everybody who's on Discord can read about it and we can answer questions about it. So it's not something that's a secret. But to a point that when we start to actually promote it, we'll probably want to have like an MVP product of like prototype of, hey, we got it working, and we'll probably maybe offer it like some sort of closed beta to our fans, and depending how well we manage that and get to a point where we can actually do maybe early access. But again, everything has to be done in a very particular manner, that we don't present early access as some kind of money grabbing opportunity. They'll say, hey, people buy this game that's actually a game, and like so everything like we want to do step by step. So we want to make sure that everybody understands what we're building. Everybody understands that when we get a beta or closed beta is what it's there to do, and when we do early access is what's the point, what is the reason for early access, right?
Cool. I'm just looking at the game history screen, and do you have this concept of badges? What are they for? And how do they work?
So the concept of badges is that it was you were supposed to get like game achievements, like you like get Steam achievements and for doing stuff in Game Dev Tycoon. But I wanted to add something that gives you Game of the Year, top seller, worst game of all time, or something like that. So
really? You can get like a worst game of all time? Do I need to wait until they finish selling that to get that? I'll have to wait.
Currently, the only badges implemented is the top seller and the Game of the Year.
Oh, okay. This would be really cool.
Yeah, badges needs to be refined a bit to a point where it's just like a visual thing. It's like, it's like worst game of the year, best game of the year, and maybe editor's choice or player's choice. Like I know you get like an event in Game Dev Tycoon when you get sometimes when you get to below 9 as an overall score, but one of the scores was maybe like 10, and you get like an extra extra badge for saying that this editorial or these gamers love this game or something like that. But we'll see how well we do with that.
Cool. Well, this looks very nice. I think we're almost ready to wrap this up. I'm sorry that I didn't manage to get to the new office, but is there anything else in the second level that would be new?
Yes, all the training screens are tabbed, and they look pretty cool.
Right.
And when you click on the workers, their action buttons are different, how they look, and everybody has a constantly visible energy bar.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you click on your current user, you can see what that looks like.
Oh, nice. Full energy, no specialization. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so you get that, and
clicked on the wrong thing. And here, of course, console spoiler.
Yeah, so the console development and the R&D lab are also remade, so those look different.
Question from the community: have any of you played any music sim games like Chart Wars, Music Wars Empire, or Music Band Manager?
Oh my god, this is actually funny. I haven't played any of those games, but this is very funny. Our previous business partner and I came up with this RPG game, music game.
What was it called?
It was called SDR.
SDR.
Yeah, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Oh, SDR.
And, yeah, so pretty much it was supposed to be where you could create a song yourself based on samples. So it's, if you combined an RPG with Fruity Loops, it would be like, that would be the idea.
Did it have much of a story or quests?
Yeah, it would be pretty much, you start off in a like a basement with a guitar, and you have to go to venues and have to perform a music piece.
I'm just developing it right now in tag mod, so we'll see how it does. You tell me how it works. Good.
And so that was like sort of the premise, that we would have samples, and the business model was that we would get famous artists to create samples for the game, and people can like arrange the samples and like fiddle around with them and make a song and then share them. But there was a game called what was it, Rock God Tycoon or something?
Oh yes, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, that had pretty much the exact same idea. So we scrapped the entire game.
I've played that a little bit. It's actually quite nice. I think also made by a solo dev.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I just botched your SDR game. I think I made the wrong things. Question, was Game Dev Tycoon inspired by Game Dev Story? Yes. So that was the main inspiration, but I mean, there are multiple other games in that genre that had some influence as well. But obviously, Game Dev Story, the largest one, which I think is quite obvious. Although, you know, it works quite differently as well from Game Dev Story. If you've played both, you will probably see what I mean by that. Okay, release. Let's see how your SDR did, or my version of that. I don't think it will be very good. Oh, actually, much better than I thought. Nice experience. Oh yeah, here you go. Oh, so you played both. So what do you think? Was it obvious to you, or you're just curious? I'm just... Cool. So this is the same names, I guess, right? From the reviewers and the same text and whatnot. It's just different skin on it. On the review screen. Yeah, I think that this is new though. The overall score, we haven't done that in game dev.
That is something we did.
Is this a new icon or is it the same? It just looks different down here, I think. Yeah, cool. Anyway, that's awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, and I hope that people will enjoy tag mod. It's, I think, version 1.0 is live right now, right, on Steam. So yeah, everyone who's watching, please give it a try and give Will an upvote. I think it's always nice to see. You know, I think you're already at what if game term would be overwhelmingly positive. I think you only have 2 downvotes or something like that. Don't know why anyone would downvote that, but anyway. I think thank you very much for coming on, and yeah, we're looking forward to see everything in the future. Cool.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, see you then. Bye.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh, sorry, I kicked him off before he could say hi to you. All right, well, and I think this will conclude our stream, actually. This was my very first stream. We went for 3 hours, so thank you all for hanging out. And do let us know if you want us to do more of that thing. I can't promise anything because I would rather finish Tavern Keeper and then show that off. But, you know, always happy to have you all, and... I think if you missed some of it, it should be archived on Twitch for a few days. So make sure to go to tavernkeeper.com as well and sign up to the newsletter. So yeah, thank you everyone. I will go for lunch because in Australia it is time for that. Bye bye.